So we're basically in summer right now, and there's not a lot of holidays to craft for. So here at Dreaming Tree, we're kind of working on some odds and ends, not really odds and ends, but just some items that would be useful pretty much all year round. Father's Day is just around the corner as well, but there's also Christmas and almost any gift-giving occasion, or if you want to give someone you love a little something special, we need boxes. And today we're going to put together a really classy looking box that, and you can take a look here at what I have in front of me, would be great for anything depending on the type of paper that you use in your project. So let's take a look at what we have here. And again, you need something last minute. This is going to work great. And all I'm doing right now is just taking and folding everything at the score marks, just so that we can get everything nice and trained and prepped. And we've actually, and we'll include this in the supply list on the website, we are using magnets to hold the box shut instead of like a tab or something, and it just makes it look really nice and classy. So to get started here, just make sure that you've got everything nice and folded. These are the two sides. This is our top. We have a bottom and we have a liner. Okay, there's a little L cut into that to signify that it is a liner. And you can see here the section here at the with these two tabs, one long, one short. This is your bottom. This is the top. This is one of the flaps. Okay, so just make sure that you have the orientation correct. And we have an identical piece right here, right next to it. So what we can go ahead and do is begin by taking this long tab here and gluing it to the neighboring piece. And I've got a brand new glue bottle here, so I got to be a little more delicate with it. It hasn't gone through its little process of caking up at the tip, or at the top of the tip, which I actually like because it kind of almost slows down the flow. But if I push hard enough, it still comes out at the pace that I like it. So I'm using my table to kind of guide me here, and just to make sure that everything is nice and lined up. Okay, so all you want to do is line it up so that it is nice and lined up. And pardon my head for a second. There we go. And then all you want to do is push that tab over onto the inside of its neighboring piece. Give that a second to hold. And then you can literally fold it onto itself to make sure that everything is nice and aligned. You kind of take a look from both sides and make sure that it's nice and aligned. It should be nice and flush here, which it is. Let's take a look at that. That looks good. Okay, and then all we're going to do then, and it's okay if we do this now, we can do it later. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this thing is still flat in just a moment and put our panels on here. Okay, but there's the other tab. So let's get our glue on this other tab. And we're going to close this off. And just gonna run my finger along that edge there. And I'm gonna spread that out thin so it doesn't warp the paper. Okay, so we can just tuck that under and just fold this flat. And just make sure that it's nice and lined up at the top and the bottom. And give that a nice push. It should lie completely flat, and that's a good indicator that we've got everything nice and perfectly aligned. Okay, so give that a second to set. And then we can go ahead and put our panels on the sides to stiffen this thing up even more. And that looks pretty darn good. So let's take a look at our panels here. These panels here are going to go onto the actual lid, and then we have 4 panels, 2 that are the same, well, 2 of each of these sizes here, and you could probably guess that one is going to go on this section here, and the other one is going to go on this section here, and then obviously on the other side as well. So let's just get those glued down. And you want to go kind of sparse on the glue here so it doesn't warp the paper and show through. There's a nice texture on it which would sort of hide that warping, but I guess you can never be too careful when it comes to that. So do your best to get that nice and aligned in the center. If it's a smidge off, I wouldn't worry about it. Just make sure that you've got the vertical alignment nice and as perfect as you can get it. And let me grab my braying tool here so we can get this stuff nice and pushed down. Okay. And we can take this piece here and get it glued down there. And I'm just putting a very soft amount of pressure on my glue bottle so I can get a nice thin line. And don't forget to work that glue out to the very edges as well, so nothing comes peeling back. And again, now that we have this one in place, try to vertically line that up so that it's on the same plane as your first piece. Okay, there we go. That looks good. All right, now let's flip this thing over. Do the same thing on the back side. And then we'll put the top and bottom together. And before you know it, we'll have a nice little box all done. Very quick. So if you're going to a wedding or a birthday party and you need a box for a little gift, this would be perfect. Now you know what we can do is if we do this, then we can use that as a reference, as a guide to make sure that everything is again on the same plane there. So it's all nice and lined up as nicely as possible. There we go. Okay. And then just flip that over like that. And let's get our glue on this last piece here. I think I went a little heavy on the glue there. I might just kind of spread that thin. There we go. And just get that lined up. Center it as best as you can. Okay. All right, so the four sides of our box are pretty much complete here. We've got our little panel on there. This is our top, again, with the two flaps. So what we can do at this point, we can do one of two things. We can either assemble the lid or put the bottom on. I'm gonna put the bottom on first. Okay, so we'll flip it like this. You've got, again, two pieces. One that has a little L cut into it, that's your liner. This is your actual bottom. Find the side that looks best. Okay, so I'm gonna say, I think I did a better job on this side as far as alignment. So that's gonna be my front. And I'm gonna take my bottom and begin gluing it here because that's our little anchor. And I think I'm gonna do the best work on this because I have ultimate control over where I'm placing it. So let's get that glue right out to the edge. Clean off that surface in case it kind of spilled over. And just line that up nicely using my pointer fingers to kind of steady the box and then getting it nice and lined up there. Give that a second to get its initial hold. And then you can flip it over and push down on the tab from the inside. Okay, there we go. That looks pretty darn good. And then all that's left to do is get our glue on the remaining three sides. Let me move that out of the way. Get our glue on these three sides. You gotta kind of work quick. You know, for boxes like this, if you have a tape gun, you could probably use a tape gun for this. No harm in that. And then I'm going to put a little thin line right up to the edge. And I just realized that I put glue down on my table just now. Oh, no I didn't. Almost. That's okay. I am just getting back in the swing of things here. It's been a little while since we put a bundle together. Okay, so I'm just going to spread that glue right out to the edge there, and this is where I saw that I got a lot of comments when I asked you guys to comment about whether or not you use the little painting tip to clean up any of these seams if you don't get it right the first time. So anyway, pull these out and then go ahead and close that up and just push down, and then just kind of use your finger and run it along the edge as you're pushing it down against those tabs to ensure that you've got it nice and lined up. You can kind of give it a little nudge or squeeze here and there if needed. Okay, and just hold that in place until it sets nicely. And let's make sure we don't have any gaps or anything sticking out. I'd say we did a pretty good job there. Okay, and you see here, got a little flap that just, I don't like how that turned out. So I'm gonna use my little strategy here. Let me grab just some scrap paper, scrap cardboard, whatever. Just a scrap piece of paper's fine. Just throw a little bit of glue on there, spread it nice and thin, and just use that to kind of paint the inside of whatever it is that you're constructing, and then just push and hold that down to give it some extra love. Okay, and that is my front, and that looks pretty sharp. Okay, so remember, this is our front, and well, you know what, before we move on, let's pull these flaps back, and what we can do is put some glue on the inside. You can put it pretty much anywhere on the inside. I'd probably just put it all over, oops, and around the perimeter. Take your little piece with the L on it and pop it in there. And that's going to kind of sturdy up the base, help this thing keep its structure a little bit better as well. Okay, and that just leaves this piece here, our lid. Now you'll notice on the lid here, there's a little, there's some score marks there to help you with the placement of our little magnet. Okay, the magnet's going to go on the inside, but you should also be able to see that from the inside, which I can. Okay, so we're going to get these little panels on here to finish off our top. So let's get those glued on. And this video is probably going to be mostly unedited. Typically the only time I edit these videos is if I cough or sneeze or something, and I don't want you guys thinking I'm gross, so I'll edit that out. But this video will be a good indicator of how long this project's going to take. Okay, so this piece here, obviously this one that looks like a home plate, it's going to go there. And then we've got one piece that goes here, so we're going to do our best to get that nice and centered in place right there. Okay, and just pop that down nice and centered. Use the piece from below here to make sure that you get the proper alignment there as well. Use my brayer. Here we go. Okay, so there's our top. And what we're going to do, again, remember, try to remember which side is your front. That's my front. We're going to take this, and so I can show you here on camera, I'm going to take this and glue it to the inside of our box. Okay, just like that. So we need to put glue on our tab here. And I'm working that glue out to the edge. Nice and thin. And just get that lined up nicely. Okay, and you'll have a minute there to kind of nudge it around some more if you need to, and just push that down. Give it a second to get its initial grip, and then take a look on the back, making sure that you've got that perfectly aligned there. And I did a pretty good job there, so I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna push that down, let that get a hold. Okay. We can put our flaps in. And then these magnets here, again, what we're gonna do is they come with a little adhesive on them already. So you're gonna place your magnet inside of this little circular score mark thing here that we've got. And then your other one, we're gonna peel off the sticky, but we're gonna put the magnet in place like that, so that when we go to close this, it will kind of reveal and it'll automatically position itself correctly. So that's where it needs to go. We're gonna give that a second to get a grip, and actually it already did. Okay, so we can give that a push, and now we got a magnet holding it closed for us, which is really nice. Now to kind of finish this off, we have a little tassel. Now to finish this off, I have a little tassel here that I'm just gonna take, and you can either hot glue or glue that on there. Okay, I'm just gonna use regular glue. You could probably get away with hot glue. Well, you should probably use hot glue because it will, glue down faster. And I'm gonna clean some of that off. You only need a little bit. Just position it right on there. Make sure it's nice and centered. And give that a few seconds to hold and dry. I'm gonna let this dry off camera, and that just kind of will complete the whole look for you. So very quick box, very useful. Again, as you can see, you've got a base color and then some patterns that you can put on it. So very easily for a guy using, masculine colors, for a woman using feminine colors, for Christmas using Christmas patterns and like a red for the box or a white. It's a very versatile box. So can't wait to see what you guys do with it and how you make it up. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please take a moment to visit us on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.